Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's the Jade Gemini. This evening I am super excited to bring you a review of this guy right here. This is the Owala FreeSip Sway. And today what I'm going to be talking about what I like, what I love, what I dislike, and if it applies, what is rubbish about this water flask right here. Before we jump in though, let's go and get some size comparisons out of the way. Well, first, I'm going to go ahead and show you probably the most ubiquitous water apparatus that there is. That is, of course, the Hydro Flask. So you can see here, tail to tail, with the Hydro Flask, that the Owala is quite a bit bigger. There you go, that's a little better. Quite a bit bigger in its overall tallness. But in diameter, you can actually see that the FreeSip Sway is a little bigger at the head, but quite smaller at the tail. So it does kind of even out. Next, we're going to go ahead and take a look at another huge competitor in this space, the Stanley Cup. Right. Now this one is a little shorter because it has this sort of not so great aftermarket lid, but you get an idea. The Stanley is about the same size here in its overall length, but when you actually close it, and normally this would be about this tall, they come about the same. And actually, as a matter of fact, this only has a high point here, kind of slopes down to the rest, while this would be high the whole entire way and have a straw sticking out on top of that. So quite a bit taller there. And then compared to the beloved Yeti tumbler flask, the one that has the locking lid and the somewhat sealed top, you can get an idea that this is quite a bit bigger around at the top, not by a huge margin, but a little bit, but definitely shorter for sure. So with those size comparisons out of the way, let's go and jump right in. So the first thing I like about this overall is the design. You know, Owala has really done a great job at something that I think every brand wants to have, and that is an image, right? Something that you can look at and say, oh, I know what that is, right? You see a Yeti with its sort of brutalist, masculine design from across the room, you know that's a Yeti, right? When you see Hamilton Field Watch, right, the ubiquitous field watch across the room, you go, oh, you know, that's a Hamilton. And their whole brand looks like this. So Owala's doing a really great job at kind of getting some design DNA, if you will, right? You have things like these little chamfer cutouts, right, which not only just give an interesting touch of design, you also kind of get this here where it's rounded up here, but it sort of flattens out. So again, you're kind of getting this simple shape with a spice, right, added in. Kind of also somewhat see this here. This is a little bit more, but you still have that same top style, right? So yeah, first thing to go ahead and like here is that overall sort of design. It also kind of lends itself to a useful thing where it sort of creates a ledge. So when this is heavy and full, and if you want to hold it like this, easy to hold, right? So that's the first thing I like. The other thing that I like is very much like Yeti, they have some really cool colors, and they seem to kind of do a mix and match on the colors of accents. So as you can see here, got the FreeSip Sway up here with this really cool color. I don't know why I didn't see that. I really like that one. You know, you got this sort of lavender purple up here, this sort of tan, this sort of egg yellow, this eucalyptus green, and this dark green. And you can kind of see the same thing here. You have a purple, dark purple, sort of eggplant, stone shell, whatever, pink, and then this sort of bubblegum pink. And it goes on and on and on. So the idea here is that there's really sort of fun flavors and twist. The one that I have, which is Sea Captain, is navy blue. Just been on a navy blue kick, probably kicked off by this watch, actually, as a matter of fact. But kind of been on a blue kick this past 6 months or so. But it has a light blue here, a light blue here, a sort of different sort of dark blue here, and then this kind of petrol green blue here. Really cool. So got 4 colors going on. Sticker kind of matches. But yeah, 4 colors going on. Really, really great as well. Another thing to really, really like here. The next thing that I like here is the handle, right? In particular, they've done a really, really good job at kind of making this really ergonomic. On the bottom, you can actually see that there's some texture here. I don't know if you can hear that, but some texture right there. Easily able to go ahead and grip, but also it's contoured and sort of D-shaped. So instead of being like this, where it's sort of like you're cramming 2 fingers in there, or being like this, where you have 1 finger carrying all the weight of this, you have the entire comfort and support of all of your hand easily in there. Super duper comfortable, ergonomic, fits in these grooves right here. No problem whatsoever. Really, really greatly designed handle. So these are all things to go ahead and like here. Again, you have a sort of design ethos that they have developed, which I definitely think when you have a design ethos with a brand, it makes it more of like a premium brand, kind of like an Apple, right? Or something like that, than just being another Amazon brand that you've never heard of, right? So you have that brand identity, really cool colors, design, and I really, really like the handle. So that kind of gets what I like out of the way. What we're going to jump into is what I love, right? What's the first thing that I'm huge on, that I love about this, is Owala does something that they do in the pocket knife industry called constant quality improvement. And you don't need to know anything about pocket knives, but essentially the idea here is that they take a design, a philosophy, and they engineer it more, better. So what I love, first of all, is this top right here. You open it up, instantly comes up, right? There's no hesitation. It did hesitate for a second there. Funny, that was the first time it's ever done that, but probably because I just put ice and cranked it down so it had back pressure. But any other time, you push this, it comes right open, instantly. So this is an improvement over the same, very similar in style, but you push this and you wait and it sort of opens up. Push it again, now it's kind of a little faster. Do it again, it kind of opens up, right? And you can see it's delayed. I've actually had my wife's blue one where you push it and it just kind of goes like this and stays, and you have to like eventually push it up with your finger. This is instant. So it just makes it like, hey, need to drink, boom, open it up, go ahead and drink, close it up, I'm good to go. Also, the other thing is this, you have to push down, and then you can see, like, see how my finger actually turns color here? I can't actually close that with my finger there. Easy, right? And so they've redesigned, re-engineered this top, where you used to have these 2 indentations. Now you just have a seal that goes around the outside, less pressure needed instead of filling all these little nooks and crannies. So really, really smart, really great design. Again, that engineering continues in other places as well, with like the lock, for example. Let's continue to have this. This locks, and hey, now it's safe for a backpack, but still, could something maybe push this open? Doesn't seem likely, but maybe. So what they've done that's really cool about this that I love is that you get this lock right here. It's also cool because, like, if I get it out of the backpack and I'm carrying this, I can easily swap it. Or if I'm walking to my backpack about to put it in there, I can lock it with my middle finger here. This has a detent that it actually clicks into. And so not only is it a physical detent, but you can audibly hear it as well, so it won't come undone. The other really cool thing that they've done, again, just sort of different stuff. There's like soft, tough touch points in here. So this is the softest thing on the cup. So you can just sort of feel, hey, that's different. Oh, that's the lock, right? Kind of train your brain, right? And even here, there's a sort of softy touch material. So you can grab on here and crank this down, right? So really, really good stuff. The other thing that I like as well about the constant quality improvement is the durability of this cup, right? So the paint seems to really hold up, doesn't really wear, tear very much. When I got my first Owala, it seemed like it was a little less than Yeti and things like that, but to me, this is just as on par, and it's fully solid. There's no flexiness whatsoever. Really, really good, strong stuff. So, really nice. Continuing on with the sort of specs here, do actually like that with this this cup overall. Another thing that's huge with the engineering is when you get inside, right? Open it up, that screw lid, right? Small thing, but when you get this, you have to really crank on this to get this open and closed, right? So it takes a lot of force. With this, not too bad, but still a little bit of force. With this, a lot of force as well, especially to close it. With this, they've got it perfectly engineered where just a little bit of turn opens it up, and then the O-ring seats perfectly when it closes. But it doesn't have a loosey-goosey feeling like it's going to come undone accidentally on you. And so the other thing, kind of just caring about quality, right? When you get a watch and the hands are like perfectly aligned and the seconds hand perfectly hits every single marker instead of being halfway in between, it shows that they've put care into that product. Same thing here. When you screw this down, it's perfectly aligned in the middle. Now, does that really matter, right? Are you not going to be able to drink out of this cup because of that? Well, no. Of course, you still can. But like on the Stanleys, even though this one's aftermarket, on the normal one, they come like this when you screw them down. So it just sort of looks very sloppy, right? So it just shows a little bit more of a premiumness, attention to detail. And I think that that just sings true. The long and short of it is there's attention to details all over. Speaking of the inside, it's easy to get into. You have a straw that is stuck in here and goes all the way down to the bottom. And it faces you. So when you are drinking and you tilt this towards you, the lowest part of the straw is at the lowest part of the cup. So you're going to get almost every single last drop instead of a straw that's kind of stuffed in there and bent at an angle and in a weird place, or maybe too short because it had to be hand cut, or you get the idea here. And it's a firm straw, not flexible, anything like that. So another thing to love. But I think the thing I love the most here, the two things I love the most, I would say, is one, the part about drinking, right? I said this and really, really raved on and on and on about this FreeSip here and the ergonomics, how comfortable this was to drink. And this basically has the exact same thing reduced. You have this cupped part right here that your top lip goes over, and then you have this molded cutout all around that's also concaved in this way, and your lip just perfectly sits here just to go in and take a sip, right? And that might sound silly, but when you take a look at something like this, where you need the strength of a Titan to get water out of, or you have something like this that, although I love this and this is fun and fidgety, you have to hold it and then cock it at an angle to break the pressure vacuum seal in here, and it will slowly get into your mouth, and you have to sit there for like 7 seconds. No, this you just go, hey, I sip, no effort at all, just the easiest to drink. It's not too much, you're not choking, anything like that. You can also pour this, which is the other big deal, is that this is like go with your sort of flow, right? So if you want to pour this, you can easily pour this as well. It's not trickling down the side of the bottle, which is the other nice thing. This is a 40 ounce, but again, it's competitive in sizes here. So the other thing that I love that really sort of brought this full circle. Oh, another thing that's engineered to perfection is how easy this is, right? It's just enough friction that it doesn't move on its own accord. But say it's here, need to drink, I just barely touches my nose, just boop, and moves out of the way, no problem. It isn't like stiff or anything like that, or a nuisance, right? Or has a detent, just moves softly out of the way. Again, all these perfectly engineered things that I absolutely love. But the last thing that I love that's huge about this, and really sort of, well, two things that kind of are the complete package, is if I take this to work, which I do, and I put this in here like so, even though this is big, 40 ounce, it perfectly fits in the backpack. It's not pressing against anything. It's not making it weird. I can put my lunch here, zip everything up really, really nice. It just fits. And I have my iPad. Oh, well, I usually, every day, have my iPad right here, and everything is comfortable, right? And the biggest thing is this lock and completely watertight design has no fear whatsoever that my headphones, my stuff in here, lunch, or my expensive iPad I use for school is going to get wet. The added benefit on top of all of this is the fact that this is cup holder friendly. So instead of this needing an adapter, like our SUV does for my wife's bottles, or Hydro Flask, right? Or you're sitting it on the seat and you break and it rolls in the floorboard and it's banging everywhere, and oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to grab that. And just craziness, doesn't matter, super easy. So now what this becomes, and I kind of recognized this when I saw the specs, but you know, even better in person, is practically the perfect water bottle, the water flask, right, for me, right? You have the cup holder readiness, you have the ability to lock it out. Oh, and of course, the other thing to love the most, it's insulated crazy. It has Yeti performance, right? I could fill it up with a little bit of ice, fill it up with water, drink it, fill that up again as well. That the ice hasn't melted at all. I can have something from a day and a half later, drink it. I'm like, wow, this is still cold. What's going? Like, it's really, really good performance. And on top of all that, the pricing is competitive. It's not like, oh, hey, we're charging for like Brewmate or something like that, where we say we're a premium design brand and they charge $50, and then they say they have all this engineering, like a previous review, and it wasn't so great. This is a perfect blend of value, quality, engineering, and performance all in one. Chef's kiss. But I like to be kind of upfront about everything, right? So any product is not perfect, and this is no different. So there are some little qualms about the Sway. The first one is this 40 ounce is maintainable for sure, but it is big. So in my little sedan, I have it down here near the transmission, and I'm driving no problem. But in my SUV that has the big co-pilot thing where it's got the console right here, I'm driving and it's right here when I'm turning. Kind of annoying, right? And if you have two, or we have many, right? If you have two Flask in the car, you might not be able to put this one on the other side, so you might just have to deal with it. So for that, I would maybe recommend the 30 ounce, but you do have some really great added versatility with the 40, and you can even fill up like a child's water bottle, right? Which we have too. So you would still be able to have plenty in like the park, like 20 ounces or something, and you fill up both your kids just fine. So that's a really cool added benefit there as well. Another thing to dislike is the cleaning is not the easiest. I like on the Takea, the Japanese brand they sell on Target, they have quick pull tabs to clean everything. Really really super easy. And what I really praised about the FreeSip is how easy it was to clean. You just grab it, it's there. That's the easiest thing in the world. Boom, grab it, you're cleaning it, right? Push this forward, lift up, you're cleaning it, turn it. You get the idea. The FreeSip Sway here is not necessarily the easiest to clean. You have this sort of dongle here that you can grab onto, but it's slippery because it's wet, right? So you'd really have to kind of work at it and get almost like a third hand in there to get it, right, when you want to clean it. Now, you're probably not going to clean it too much because this really is meant to be just a water bottle, which I think is the other thing to dislike. When you have carbonated water in here and you open it, it goes and like really makes a loud noise and shoots the lid even more aggressively open, or at least it seems like it has a lot of theatrics and theater and all that stuff. So people can be like, whoa, what's that, right? So that's the first thing. Could it possibly also leak? Maybe. But they say not carbonated, not hot. This is really just meant to be an iced water bottle, which is what I use it for, so it's perfect. But that might be a downside when you can use something like a Yeti and a pinch as a ramen bowl at work. So just something to keep in mind with. Keeping on that same exact idea, it's quite hard to get this out as well. You'd really have to kind of work at it. So the cleaning thing, if you're cleaning yours like every week or something, and you're concerned about that kind of thing, something to keep in mind. There's nothing really to say that's rubbish about this water bottle whatsoever. So that kind of brings me into everything. This is forget to mention, this is quite robust. Everything with this is solid. There's solid parts. The lock is solid. Everything. So this is a solid, long-lasting, well-engineered, quality fit, not just finishing throughout the whole entire thing. Constant quality improvement, super engineered, hyper designed flask with high performance of what it's supposed to do, but just keep your water cold, right? Not get hot in the hot Tampa sun. So if it doesn't get hot here, it's probably not going to get hot anywhere where you are. And so for me, this bad boy is perfect. I love this thing. I don't use any of my other 10 or some odd because it's perfect for me. The smaller size is easy to grip on as well. So if you are like me and you have a medium to small medium hands, right, doesn't matter because you can just grip down here to drink it, and it's easy instead of a bigger hydro flask as well. So I just think this is for anyone, and I think it's the perfect water bottle. You don't have that big handle here. It's completely watertight, great for on the move, great for in a backpack, for hiking, for taking your kids to the park, college student around the campus, at the office, doesn't matter. Absolute perfection on a road trip as well. Owala just killed it. So, absolutely love this. If you've been eyeing this, you are going to love it too. Of course, if you did like this video, please go and give it a like, as well as subscribe, as it helps the channel. And the channel's always growing, with a lot more water bottle stuff coming, as well as other EDC gear like watches, flashlights, pocket knives, other thing like that. I appreciate it if you do end up subscribing. Of course, if you have any questions, I love fellowshipping with you guys. Please leave them in the comments down below. And most importantly, I appreciate you taking time and watching me babble on my small little channel, as there's so many great content creators you could be watching. Most importantly, I hope everybody has a blessed rest of your day. Take care and stay safe. Peace.